Pickaxe.
We need more Studio Ghibli inspiration in Dungeons & Dragons. So thank the gods the Wandering Tavern Kickstarter is live right now. Dive into a rich tapestry of storytelling that seamlessly blends the epic fantasy elements of D&D with the heartwarming magic of Studio Ghibli. The Wandering Tavern is a Kickstarter project brought to you by Homie and the Dude, the father-son-led TTRPG creation team that created Sky Zephyrs, the D&D vehicle combat system for both airship, underwater submarines, and land vehicles that funded in under 4 hours. And this is their next big thing. In the Wandering Tavern, you will be able to explore, interact, and tell amazing stories with your friends as you get immersed in this unique and fantastical location inspired by the whimsical works of Studio Ghibli. So be sure to click the link in the show notes to be a part of this incredible addition to your D&D campaign. The Wandering Tavern Kickstarter will include a huge, unique TTRPG agnostic setting that can be plugged into any D&D world. You get full setting history, 15 giant battle maps, 33 plug-and-play NPCs, 30 plot hooks, unique spirit mechanics, also more content and references from their previously funded Kickstarter. You get additional plug-and-play Zephyrs, Zephyr parts and stations, Sky Zephyr's Quick Starter Guide. On top of that, you get 18 new magical items, 7 illegal trades, 13 setting-themed recipes, 3 downtime games to play with your party, 4 celebrations and holidays, all put together by 3 collaborators. The Wandering Tavern is open till May 2nd, so hop aboard while you can. Studio Ghibli awaits. Click the link down in the show notes to check it out, and be sure to show your support for these incredible third-party creators. They are truly keeping D&D alive, so be sure to click the link in the show notes and join in on this whimsical adventure. Welcome, cast and crew, back to Nocturne, A Curse of Strahd Tale. My name is Ryan McManus, and I will be your director for today. You can find me running the Cast Party socials at Cast Party D&D, or on my personals at Ryan.McManus, and I'm joined today by my brunch-ready group of individuals ready for a nice, safe, happy meal. We have Vince!
I will be playing Theren, the man of hope seeking retribution. You could find me at Cast Party, of course, and also at my personals at Jet and Pebbles.
And we have Christian.
Hello, my name is Christian, super excited for brunch. I will be playing Tannis, a chain forged in blood. And you can find me on all my socials at Captain Carlson.
And finally, we have May.
Hi, I'm May, and I have a mimosa, so I'm ready for brunch. Zielle is all about brunch, and she's gonna slay at brunch just like she slays everywhere else, and I guess if you want to perceive me other places on the internet, my username is May LaFay.
Alright, time for your poem. You all traverse the mud to the colorful campsite below, with singing and music, and the wine sure did flow. A broad mass of a man named Araja came to greet you, saying Madame Ava had foretold of your arrival, but upon review, he saw your scars, your wounds, and your blood. He fetched the healers quickly as they began to swiftly flood. They handed you herbs, bandages, and weird vials before rushing Azria to a tent for further medical trials. Araja ensured her health and sent you off to mingle, for the gathering began around the fire, and accordion and bells did jingle. But Tannis had other plans and sat by his lonesome. Theren and Zielle joined the friends and were shown some glasses filled with wine, along with stories to be told, a wizard and Strahd, and a battle to behold. Tannis joined the conversation after having won himself with a horse, and as the party winded down, you found yourselves bonding over remorse. You told stories of your own, of your past and those you loved, who may still be with us, or of those drowned in blood. But Madame Ava awaited with fortunes and guidance, so you waltzed into her tent, and with a break in the silence, Madame Ava greeted you all, cackling as you entered. She sat you all down as she let her mind surrender to the powers she speaks and cards she did pull. She promised you greatness and your hearts to be full. For you might be the ones to kill the devil himself, but not without equipment, artifacts, and help from the realm. She then offered you each readings of your own, as Tannis was called forth, and she started speaking of home. Not of the one where he grew, but the one who made him what he is. She warned him to watch himself, or it will be the end of his friends. As Tannis was dismissed, Zielle was called next. But before Madame Ava could speak, she threw back her neck. A soft pink glow radiated from her eyes as Madame Ava did not speak, but someone else to her surprise. Suni was watching over her and witnessed Zielle's oath to uphold love and beauty and promise Zielle safety and growth. But not before Suni's being was wiped clear from this vessel and a new sinister force showed with an air of the devil. This being did not speak, but with eyes black as night, it pulled a card from the deck before flipping it upright. The Executioner. As Zielle began to panic, Madame Ava came to and quickly grew manic. She asked Zielle to leave and Tannis followed for support as Theren was last remaining, but Madame Ava kept it short. She knew what troubled him and who was looking over him. Be whole and lose everything, she said looking grim, or seal his fate, and with that she shooed you away. Theren joined his companions by the fire, and to end their second day, you all conversed about your past, both wretched and heartbroken, trusting in one another, being honest and open. You called it a night as Theren's sword cracked, and an upgraded sword was carved from this mass. Tannis awoke to a Raja, gently shaking him awake. He said you had company, and a man and a carriage did wait. Tannis went to gather his friends, finding Azria had departed, back to the Blood on the Vine tavern, leaving you all a bit disheartened. You informed Irina that you had business to attend to, and she happily stayed back so she could sleep for a few. You approached this elf on the road, who opened the carriage door, inviting you all in with its gothic black leather decor. As the three of you gathered, all huddled in a bunch, the well-mannered elf finally spoke. Strahd has requested your presence for brunch. I will return you to camp after you're finished with your meal. Please enter. As his hand gently raises, guiding you all through the open carriage door.
Zielle will put her hand out as if she's a princess and let the carriageman help her in.
He had gestured towards the door, but seeing you reach out with your hand up, he maneuvers his hand back to then guide you up the single step leading you inside the carriage.
Guys?
I will step in. What's the seating? Is it like 2 benches on either wall or?
2 leather benches that are facing each other. You can assume this would fit about 4, maybe 6 if you tried.
I take a moment. I look at either one. I'll make a show of looking at which bench I want to sit in, and then I'll sit next to Zielle.
As Theren follows behind, every step that he takes up into the carriage is just like a stomp. It kind of shakes it. As he comes in and he sees the 2 of them sitting to one side, he'll just sit at the other side and just stab the sword with the 2 new tips right into the wood on the floor.
Gods, Theren, you don't have to stab your sword into the man's carriage.
Doesn't matter.
Why?
Not ours, is it?
But why?
It's Strahd.
It's not the best brunch manners.
I'm not one for brunch.
On that we agree.
Okay, I know we're all really sad. We have a lot going on. But if we want to ever get out of here, we're going to need to use a little, what should I say, tact today. We could find some things out about Strahd. I don't want to be kind to him either. I don't think he deserves it from everything we've heard, but...
Right.
He's also quite powerful from everything we've heard.
Okay, so you're suggesting tact. What does that look like? A gentle conversation with Strahd. Hey, Strahd, how's it going? How's your day been, Strahd? What's it like ruling Barovia, Strahd? What's that iron fist feel like?
That's actually better than I thought you'd be able to do, but you can also just let me do the talking.
The elf shuts the carriage door behind you. You can hear a lock on the handle as he makes his way up to the front seat outside of the carriage. You can hear him settle into the bench up front as he grabs the reins, and you can hear a crack of the reins.
Okay, I'm confused. Are we doing the subtle approach, trying to learn about Strahd, or are we going straight in? Because it feels like that's kind of a middle ground.
We could either go in guns blazing, like what it sounds like you want to do, or we take our time. You two enjoy a nice meal, we hang out, we get some information. Information can go much further than you believe.
Fine, we do the information.
And with that, sitting on these comfortable black leather seats, there is a clear air of sophistication within the carriage itself. As you're sitting and mingling and getting settled in, you hear orchestral music begins playing throughout the interior as the elf sits up front. It is almost as if the elf up front turned on the radio for you all in the back. It is fairly dark inside of this carriage as the windows are tinted as dark as possible. Only magical lights inside the interior light your view as you hear a crack of the reins, and you suddenly feel yourself picked up off the ground, seemingly weightless, but only for a split second. Almost like you hit the peak of a roller coaster, only to find yourselves plopped back on solid ground once more as the carriage does a bounce. Though the wheels hitting the ground sounded more like impacting stone than it did the dirt you left from. And the calm, peaceful morning by the lakeside has immediately given way to harsh rain and thunder. As you hear the elf open an umbrella, muted from the outside, settle the horse, as you hear his footsteps hit the stone. As he makes his way to the side of the carriage, you hear him unlock the door, creak it open. "Welcome to Castle Ravenloft," as he gestures a hand out for you all to exit.
Right.
I will grab his hand again and step down under the umbrella.
Seeing you get out first, he does move his hand back over to ensure you get down the steps safely in your high-heeled boots as he holds the umbrella over you and waits for the other two.
Tannis is going to follow, and he's not going to take the hand again, and then I will follow after Zielle.
Theren will follow after Tannis and coming out using the sword as a crutch between each step. Giving it like that extra little oomph in between each one to kind of make sure it shakes things a little bit.
It is as if you're putting your whole weight on these steps at once. As you come down, you feel the carriage give into the weight that you're putting down with your sword as you finally all make your way to the ground once more. Though again, this time stone, as you find yourselves in a vast courtyard, standing in the looming shadow of a monstrous castle. The castle itself is made of black stone, and its architecture is both grand yet oppressive. There are turrets and towers that rise at irregular intervals, creating this jagged skyline that only adds to the intimidating presence this castle gives off. Massive walls with gargoyles and other grotesque carvings encase these castle grounds. The walls surrounding the courtyard are roughly 90 feet high, as thick, cold fog swirls about you. Sporadic flashes of lightning lance the weeping clouds overhead as thunder shakes the ground. And through the drizzle, you can see torch flames fluttering on each side of the keep's open main doors, welcoming you all inside. Warm light spills out of the entrance, flooding the courtyard. And high above the entrance is a round window with shattered, broken glass lodged in its iron frame.
When we look around, do we just see fog and rain?
You can vaguely see through the fog here. You can see bushes and the landscaping that they do, fountains and statues adorning this courtyard, all made of black marble. Depictions of other noble folk, depictions of grotesque monsters, whether it's gargoyles or just beasts itself, wolves, dire wolves, the like.
Do we see any landmarks in the like? Can we see far enough where we see any sort of landmark, like a mountain or any buildings further off, or is it just too dark and too foggy?
How about you give me a perception check?
Okay, I got a 12.
Through this thick fog, again, you are facing the castle at the moment. Surrounding you are these 90-foot walls encasing the castle courtyard. Though you take a peek behind the carriage that brought you in, and you see a drawbridge slowly rising as if to block you all in. You don't remember coming this way. You find yourself high on a mountain peak, The only thing you can vaguely see before the drawbridge crests your eye line is the faint spinning of a windmill blade, way off in the distance. Barely a silhouette, but you can see it begin to rotate before the drawbridge slowly closes. And as you turn back around, you notice 7 crows sitting in a tree nearby, one taking a very interested liking in your group, following your every footstep.
I'm going to try and whisper to Zielle, because I think that she's probably the closest. There's no one on the walls, so if we do have to make a quick exit, it shouldn't be too difficult.
Or you could just behave.
I'm just trying to be helpful.
Say, sir, she'll address the elf. Do you have any, tips for dining with Count Strahd? Not all of us are used to such fine dining.
Just be sure to mind your manners. That's all he really cares about. Be cordial. Be kind.
Kind. Right.
That'll be no problem, thanks.
Of course. Would you like me to guide you in?
Theren will just start walking forward and give the elf a nudge to the shoulder as he walks by, like just shoving him out of the way.
Oh my god, he said manners.
Yeah, no, please, lead on. I don't know. There's so many ways that we could possibly take into this castle. I do need your expert navigational skills.
That's enough, Tannis, that's enough.
All right, I'm sorry, I'm done.
Laying it on thick.
I'm done.
As you begin to make your way towards the entryway, you see these ornate outer doors of the castle that again hang open and welcome you all in, flanked by torches and sconces to provide you some light. 20 feet inside the hall is another set of second doors. As you walk in, the doors in front of you swing open, revealing a grand hall filled with the sound of organ music. Overhead in the vaulted entry foyer, you see 4 statues of dragons that glare down, their eyes flickering in the torchlight, as the elf begins to slowly close the double doors behind you, shielding you all from the rain. You walk into the great entry hall with cobwebs that stretch between columns that support the vaulted ceiling of a great dusty hall, dimly lit by sputtering torches in iron sconces. The torches cast odd shadows across the faces of 8 stone gargoyles, squatting motionlessly on the rim of the domed ceiling. Cracked and faded ceiling frescoes are covered by decay. Double doors of bronze stand closed to the east. To the north, a wide staircase climbs into darkness. A lit hallway to the south contains another set of bronze doors, through which you hear sad and majestic organ tones. As the elf walks past you all into the great hall, Strahd is expecting you, as he moves towards the southern hallway, expecting you all to follow, but does not turn.
I stop for just a second to look at these really spooky gargoyles and things and get a lay of the land. Looking at those bronze doors, to some extent, the situation is starting to actually set in. So there's a little bit of weight, but try and shake that off and catch back up to Theren.
Theren's still just beelining it to wherever it is that we're shown to go. Head on a swivel, though. Methodically double-checking every step, making sure surroundings are safe before entering a new area.
As you walk down this hallway that the elf gestured you down, you see that torchlight flutters against the walls of this vaulted hall. Theren, you see to the east an arched hallway that stretches for about 20 feet, ending at a spiral staircase that both goes up and down. Next to the hallway is a suit of armor, oiled and glistening, that stands at attention in a shallow alcove. To the west, large double doors hang slightly open, where the elf begins to walk towards, as you see a steady, bright beam of light begin to escape from the opening. You hear swells of this organ music behind the doors, spilling their melody of power and defeat into the hall. As the elf approaches, opens one side of the door as he lifts a hand and gestures you all inside. He will be right through here. Take your time if you must discuss anything.
Guys, can we maybe huddle up, and have just a quick conversation? Just.
If you would like privacy, I must attend to the kitchen staff as well to make sure they're prepared, as long as you know where you're going.
Thank you. Have fun in the kitchen.
As he pushes the door open slightly more, just to ensure that you know where you are supposed to be, he bows to the three of you individually and walks off with his chest and chin high.
We're in enemy territory.
No matter the situation, keep your eyes and ears open.
Yeah, listen, yeah, right. Okay, so I think we need to have some kind of whether it's a phrase or a look or a sound, something to signal if things are going wrong or if somebody's picking up on something that no one else is. I think this is a place where we could be poisoned. We could be stabbed in the back. In my mind, this is an assassination attempt.
I don't know if we know enough of Strahd yet. Why invite us to brunch then? He could just have us killed. He could have killed us when we saw him last. Easily.
I agree with her. I think this is too simple for him.
He may just be a cat playing with a mouse, but either way, I think this is part of his game, and I don't think he intends to end it today.
Great. Well, I don't want to end up a dead toy, so can we maybe like a double snap or a quick whistle? Maybe a word, maybe like Patagonia.
What is that?
A double snap? It's sort of like just a regular snap, but you do it twice.
Patagonia.
I'm not entirely sure what Patagonia is. I heard someone say it when they came into the Enchanted Hearth once. It just sort of stuck. It's such a... that's not the point. That is not the point. My point was more that we needed some kind of code so that we can all be on the same page if somebody picks up on something going wrong.
We can come up with a code. If you want Patagonia, we use Patagonia.
Well, I think if we're yelling a made-up word that he's probably gonna know that we're doing something, but sure.
Okay, listen, we can drop it.
We've got each other's backs, right? We're not leaving anyone behind. We're not gonna let anything happen to each other.
Let's make the most of it. Who knows what we might find?
Hopefully a cinnamon roll.
Okay, alright, let's go have brunch and hopefully a cinnamon roll. Zielle, are you serious right now? A cinnamon roll?
I'm so hungry.
Theren will push the doors open, and as he does, like halfway through, he'll stop, look back towards Tannis. Patagonia. And wink at him. Push the doors fully open and walk in.
I'm gonna follow, but I'll turn over my shoulder towards Zielle. It's the word.
Not saying it.
You're saying it. It's a good word. Patagonia.
I will just die.
Theren, as you throw open these enormous double doors, nearly 20 feet high, heavy iron creaks on its hinges as you see 3 enormous crystal chandeliers brilliantly illuminating this magnificent chamber. Pillars of stone stand against dull white marble walls supporting the ceiling. In the center of the room, a long, heavy table is covered with a fine white satin cloth. Places are set at each seat with fine, delicate china and silver. At each place is a crystal goblet filled with an amber liquid with a delicate and tantalizing fragrance. At the center of the far west hall, directly in front of you from these double doors, between floor-to-ceiling mirrors, stands a massive organ. Its pipes blare out a thunderous melody that speaks in its tones of greatness and despair as these marble statues of both humans and demons seemingly clawing at the pipes themselves. Seated at the organ, facing away from you, a single caped figure pounds at the keys. The figure suddenly stops, and as a deep silence falls over the dining hall, it slowly turns your way. As a man you have seen once before, twice before, some of you, erupts from his bench. My dearest guests, please, partake in the appetizers. Vasily will be with you shortly to fetch you any drinks and tend to any special requests. I'm just freshening up. As the illusion fades into smoke and dissipates in the air around you, just like you saw back in the Durst family manor.
You can see that the grip on Theron's sword gets tighter as his emerald eyes get a little bit brighter and he looks a little more tense.
You all have very low passive perception, right?
14. 13.
Oh, just kidding.
Higher than mine.
Yeah, mine's a 12.
Mine's a 10.
This room is very ornate, very well put together. You can clearly see that it is meant for entertaining. It is meant for meals with a good chunk of people. This table itself is long with 8 chairs on either side and 2 at either head. This is a very long hall that is meant for gatherings. There is a hefty bit of dust around the candelabras, the iron sconces. You can tell there hasn't been people in here in quite some time. But there are 7 crows hanging up in the rafters. One seemingly following your every footstep.
Tannis is going to stride up to the table and look at these goblets filled with this weird liquid, and I want to mess around with those. I want to see if it's poison.
Let's do medicine or survival. I'll let you take your pick.
That is a 13.
As you begin to swirl it, nothing really catches your eye. It smells very sweet, very fragrant. Nothing seems to stand out at you that it would cause you any harm if you were to ingest it.
Okay, great. I guess I'm going to drink that then. I'll take one of the seats, put my boots on the table.
Can I ask which seats you all are taking? There is one at the head by the organ, which you can assume to be Strahd's. There are 4 chairs lined on either side, and another chair at the opposite end at the other head of the table, more by the doors that you just arrived in from.
How high up are the crows? How high did you say the ceilings are?
Ooh, the doors were about 20 feet. I would say 30 to 40 feet high ceilings.
Okay, let's try it. I'm gonna cast Speak with Animals.
Ooh,
That's
fun.
awesome.
I'd like to ask the crow that seems to be like looking at us. Why are you following us, friend? She'll just call up to the raven.
The raven continues to stare back at you, though this one does not speak. You do, however, sense its emotion towards you. It is filled with curiosity and concern.
I brought you a gift, and she's gonna take off one of her little gold earrings, hold it up in a way that it'll like catch the light from the chandelier so I can see.
Zielle, what does your earring look like so I can make a note of this as the single raven flies down and scoops it from your hand, flying back directly up to the rafters?
Oh, he flew back. It's just a simple, it's like a gold hoop. It's a little bit like thicker. It's just pretty plain, and like it's not too large either. It's kind of fitted to her ear.
Oh my god, Zielle, are you talking to the bird? Were you talking to a bird?
Shh, yes, I'm talking to the birds. Please,
Shush me.
if we need your help, will you help us? And she's not really expecting an answer, but she's just trying to make friends with the bird.
The bird nods in approval.
Did you see that? Did you see that? He said yes.
No, he did. He's a bird. Zielle, you were talking to a bird.
They're just curious. They don't mean us any harm. They're just interested. I would like to get a drink from the table.
Which of these chairs are you all pulling up on?
I think I'm on the left, not the closest seat to the head, so the one next to that.
Ooh, what's the place of honor? It's to the left, right? Or is it across?
Table place of honor. The guest of honor should be seated to the right of the host.
I'm sitting there.
So you are across diagonally from Tannis.
I'm going to sort of cheers you with my boot.
With your ew. No. She pulls her drink away. Animal. Stop.
Yeah, you can speak with animals.
Clearly.
I'm going to take a while to recover from that. Tannis is going to bury himself in his drink.
Oh, shit.
Theren is gonna go to the end where they are and grab the chair where Strahd is supposedly going to sit and drag it all the way to the other end. Set it next to the other chair, place the Sword of Baron on it, and then sit in the other chair.
So you are at the opposite head of the table with 2 chairs.
What a weird seating arrangement we chose.
As you drag this regal chair all the way across the dining hall, the plush red cloth seats are very nice to stabilize Baron with.
We're going to die.
As you all relax comfortably and begin to sip your wine, you hear a very soft knock on the door that you came from, before one side slowly creaks its way open, although the heavy door aches as it's moved on its hinges. Sorry, I hope I didn't interrupt anything. Blasted thing just won't stay quiet. It always ruins the convo. As this man peers at you, Zielle, you can tell upon seeing you he is instantly flustered. He breaks his perfect posture and well-mannered demeanor. His cheeks on his pale white skin grow increasingly rosy as a smile comes across his face that he tries to hide as he shyly looks away towards the others. This man, upon first glance, seems to be roughly mid-20s, 5'10", with swept back, medium length, almost feathery, near platinum white hair, with a strand that hangs down across the left side of his face. Smoothly clean-shaven, his jawline clearly shows off his diamond face shape as his bright blue eyes peer over to Tannis and Theren, trying to avert your gaze out of embarrassment. He's wearing a black tailcoat that sweeps behind him with a billowy white dress shirt underneath that peeks out the top of his jacket. A black bow tie sits at his neck as he brings in plates filled with appetizers, his tight black gloves ensuring he doesn't drop a single plate. He makes his way over to the boys first, to Theren. Theren, this man gracefully walks over to the head of the table along with your sword as he slides a plate down. 2, to be exact, one in front of Baron as well. Pleasantries, my dearest guest. May I fetch any extra drinks for you? Any special requests that I can attend to ensure your meal is satisfactory?
Just stares intently into his eyes.
Anything else that I may attend to? I'm sorry, I just brought the bread first.
Continues to stare.
Please, I'm so sorry to bother you. I think I'm gonna need something stronger.
No, sorry, Zielle, he's actually is serving Theren right now. Have some manners, Zielle. So sorry.
He does make his way to Tannis next. And for you, sir?
With a 14 passive insight, what vibes am I picking up from this guy?
He seems to just be here to ensure that you have a pleasant meal. Unless you're looking for anything in particular.
I'm looking for something in particular. There was a long look. There was a rather emotionally complicated look at one member of our party. Vibe check on that look. What's going on? What's the deal?
Oh, you've seen this look before.
You definitely have. You've seen this look from Rent back in the Enchanted Hearth. You've seen it from passers-by grabbing Zielle a drink. You've seen it on this man's face right here, who you can assume is Vasily. He made it a note to come to you first in hopes of avoiding Zielle out of embarrassment or shyness.
Sorry, I forgot your name. What were you? Vasily? Was that who you were?
Yes, sir.
Great. Oh, thank you for bringing the bread, Vasily. Really thoughtful of you. You're doing terrific so far. How long have you been here, Vasily, if you don't mind me striking up a bit of a conversation with you?
Oh, quite some time. To the point I don't even remember. The master wouldn't particularly like it if your boot was on the table. I would recommend taking it off before he gets here. I will be back one more time to bring the rest of the appetizers and any special requests, but just as a kindness to you, I would recommend.
So thoughtful of you, Vasily. I think I'm going to leave it there if it's all the same to you. Do you do drinks? Can I ask you to get me a drink, or is that...
Special requests are always granted. Please.
I don't know, Vasily. What's your favorite thing to drink?
Wine is always the best bet.
I do love wine. Tell you what, you bring me your favorite vintage wine.
I'll see to it.
Thank you.
As he makes his way past the head of the table, over to Zielle, standing as upright as he possibly can, though a bit shaken. Hi. Sorry, my lady. Is there anything I can get for you?
No, I'm so sorry about them. I tried to teach them manners. We're still working on it. It's their first day. Maybe this will help them.
I can't expect everyone to just waltz in and know how to behave like a human, so it's all right.
I'm gonna lean over and whisper in his ear. You should cut his wine with water.
He'll lean back down. Do you think he needs it? Will he drink too much and make a fool of himself? Or is it too late for that?
He might get a little unrulier if he drinks more, so... could I have a water, please?
Here's an awesome fun fact about Tannis is that I have advantage on perception checks when it involves hearing, so can I roll to see if I'm picking up on this?
Go for it. Zielle, we both were trying to whisper, so I'm going to have us roll to battle that. Let's just do stealth.
I normally have disadvantage because of my armor, but I wouldn't have disadvantage on a whisper, right?
Not on a whisper, no. Vasily got a nat 1.
I got a 19.
I got a 17.
You know that Zielle leaned into whisper, though with Vasily having a tray in his hand and setting down another glass, he doesn't really have a way to guard his mouth or keep anything a secret as you hear him almost openly call you a fool.
Yeah, a water would be great as well for myself. Thank you.
Of course. I'll be back shortly.
I'm going to make eye contact with Zielle. I'm just lasers at Zielle.
I am not looking at Tannis because I'm giving Vasily a big smile and I'm going to say thank you.
Blushes immediately and looks down at his feet, averting his gaze as he walks out with an empty tray, leaving these steamed buns with drizzled honey on top for you all to enjoy in the meantime while he grabs the appetizers and special requests. I'll be back shortly. Please enjoy. Take some time for yourself and hopefully Strahd will be with you soon.
Hopefully.
As the doors close behind you.
I'm going to take a bite of the steamed bun here. And then I'll just sort of generally say to the table, weird that he would call me a fool at the table, isn't it? Probably not the first time, but still, can't imagine in what context someone would call me a fool. What were you whispering about, Zielle? Just in case, we were... Because I know we were all on the same team when we came in here, but it seems like maybe now that's changed. I don't know.
You know, they say that the fool is often the loudest one at the table, right?
No, don't speak in metaphors, Zielle.
Why do you need to be so aggressive?
I'm not being aggressive.
Do you hear the tone of your voice?
This is how I talk. I always sound like this.
You do not.
I do. I always sound like this. Why would... You know what? It's fine. I don't care. Who cares? Who cares? It's just Vasily. I don't care what Vasily thinks.
Maybe you should. He gave you a warning.
What? To take my boots off the table?
How are you even going to eat like that?
I don't know. I'll take my boots off when I need to eat. You're afraid that I'm going to make you look bad in front of Strahd? Or worse, in front of Vasily?
I'm afraid that Strahd's gonna punish you.
Fine. I will take my boots off of the table, but I'll be very dramatic about it.
Listen, it's just a game. If he can play it, so can we. It doesn't mean anything we do that we mean it. You can put your boots on his table when he's dead. And then she'll cast my little detect poison now before I eat anything, since we have drinks and food at the table. So she'll just pull out her little leaf out of her pocket and just let it dissolve under the table and cast detect poison and disease.
Nothing makes any note to trigger your spell. You feel safe around the wine and food currently at the table.
Okay, and that'll last for 10 minutes. I do not have to speak with animals any longer.
You got it.
Also, I'm sorry, why are we mad at me for my boots on the table? Theren took his chair and put his sword in it. Now, I understand what the sword is, but as far as they know, he just took Strahd's chair and put his weapon there. I mean, what? Why are we mad at me?
I didn't realize that was the one you took! God! Zuni, help me! I'm gonna move my chair to the head, and then I'm gonna pull over the chair next to me to where I was sitting.
So Tannis, directly across from you is now an empty place where a chair would be.
After you move that chair, is there still one next to you?
Not anymore, no.
The side of the table is me at one end, a space, and then another chair.
When you move that, I'm going to take my other chair and I'm going to flip it and I'm going to put my boots in the chair. Are we happy? Are we happy now? I've not got my boots on the table. Everyone wins.
I can't win.
Zielle, next to you in the open space on the table, you can see that Baron appears, and he's just sitting at the edge of the table, just kind of like looking at you with his hands on the side of the table, and he's just kicking his legs, just like with a big smile, looking at you, like, oh, this is fun.
When you cast Baron, Theren, you can see as he finally takes form once again. You see him carefree, look at Zielle, look at the plate that is seemingly through his being sitting on the table. As he begins to kick his feet off the table, though they slowly start to stop as panic sets into his face. As he looks down at his hand specifically, as a breeze flows through the great hall and billows the end of his left shirt. From the forearm down, Baron no longer has an arm, as he fades back into your sword.
What?
As this happens, Theren is sitting in his chair, and he sits back and kind of throws his arms behind his head a little more relaxed and throws his feet up on the table, watching these two have a little bit of a quarrel. And he sits back and has one of the bigger smiles that you've seen from him. After that, you can see that Baron disappears, and he sits up immediately and watches as he disappears and goes back into the sword. And that smile goes to one of the more stern faces you've seen on him lately.
Tannis has a somewhat similar response. The boots come off the seat. I'm looking around trying to figure out what just happened. And similarly to the moment that we walked in and saw the gargoyles and sort of the heaviness of the situation landed on Tannis, I think again it's like returned. The like sassiness that had completely dominated his countenance just a second ago has faded and been replaced by a much more guarded expression that masks a bit of fear. Whatever it was pretty instant and pretty intense. For a moment, Tannis realizes this is not a place you get to mess around. And I will set down a half-eaten third bun on my plate. I think match the stern expression on Theren's face.
As a slight knock on the door once more, as it is pushed open. And walking in once again is Vasily, the tray held high in one hand, his other tucked behind him at his lower back to ensure that he does not mess up his posture this time. As he begins to slowly walk his way around the table, setting down different platters. For this morning's appetizers, we have assorted nuts with roasted aromatic herbs, drizzled with honey along with mushrooms, and they're stuffed with breadcrumbs, cheese, and other herbs. Though as he makes his rounds, remaining atop the tray is a small vase. As Vasily walks over, he ends at Zielle. He sets the vase down on the table, as the hand tucked behind his back pulls around a bouquet of flowers. Pinks, purples, fire blossoms, tulips, and roses, fragrant, lush, and colorful.
What's this?
I thought you might like something nicer to look at. As he places the bouquet in the vase, perfectly breaking your eyesight with Tannis. We have a garden out back that I tend to. They're not as beautiful as you are, but they make me smile when I see them, just like you do.
Thank you, that's so sweet of you. Hey, could you tell me, does Strahd eat?
He loves food.
Like this kind of food?
Oh, yes.
Do you want to be here?
Yes. I love my time here at the castle.
As long as you're here, as Theren sits back a little bit more.
As he closes his eyes and you can see the bright pink return to his cheeks.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad. It's a relief to hear. Sorry, one more question. Have you ever met Lady Irina? Or do you know about her? What Strahd says of her?
When you say Irina...
Oh no.
Something washes over him. His mood shifts, complete 180. I don't really like to talk about Irina. We try to stay away from that topic around here. And I suggest you do the same.
Okay. Sorry.
No apologies needed.
Thanks for the flowers. They're lovely.
Thank you so much for the flowers, Vasily. Very thoughtful of you.
He stands up straight once more, shifting back into work mode. Strahd will be joining you shortly. I hope you enjoy your meal. Enjoy. He leans down Zielle once more and whispers, I hope this isn't the last I get to see of you.
I want to try and hear this
All right, let me roll. Oh my god, man.
That's a dirty 20 from me.
I got a 7. You would hear nearly the entire thing as he straightens himself back up, leaves through the double doors, leaving you all to the appetizers, the assortment of nuts, the bread, the stuffed mushrooms, while you wait for Strahd.
Is the wine cut with water?
How about you give it a taste?
I will. Give a swirl, a smell, and a taste.
Definitely.
I don't think Tannis is thrilled about the entire series of events so far. When he realizes that, it's just a tipping point, and he's just gonna throw the wine glass across the hall, sit back in his chair, pull out a cigarette, and just completely stone silent.
A little black and purple tendril will come from the sword and grab the glass of wine in front of Theren, and it will pick it up and drop it in front of Tannis.
Oh, come on.
Filled to the brim with wine.
Thank you, Theren. I appreciate, I guess, the thought. Drink the wine and smoke the cigarette. Just complete debauchery from Tannis as he sulks in his little chair.
Zielle is dissociating. Not that you can see because she is purposefully trying to keep the flowers between the two.
Theren, from behind you, with your back to the double doors, you hear them swing wide open as the man of the hour joins you all. Apologies for keeping you waiting. What kind of host am I? Are we ready to eat? I'm starving.
I'll stand up when he comes in. A sign of respect or whatever.
As he strolls his way through the great hall, again, his boot fall is silent. His footsteps make no noise as he walks through, where you all echoed on these stone and tile floors throughout the castle. He walks silently, taking his seat at the head of the table behind the organ, as ghostly specters follow him in, flanking either side of the table, bringing you trays filled with food, putting down plates in front of you filled with pheasant and quail pies, venison sausages, omelets, roasted red vegetables, as Strahd flings his coat, takes a seat, and scoots himself in. Please, partake. Thank you all so much for coming. It's pretty rare that I have guests, so it's nice to chat, get to know new people. You all don't seem too thrilled. Are you not morning people? I'm so sorry. I thought we were going to do dinner, but brunch seemed a little more fitting.
One arm just reaches out towards Theren's sword, and he just grasps it, taps his fingers methodically as he just stares down Strahd.
I didn't take you as a brunch person, Count.
What's better than brunch?
I mean, that's what I always say.
We can sit, we can drink in the morning. I always thought breakfast was my favorite meal.
You're right. And she'll be seated as well.
As he looks over at Tannis. You're quiet. You seemed to have a lip on you the last time we spoke. What's got your tongue? Is an invitation to my humble abode not enough for you? I'm trying to be pleasant. I'm trying to be cordial. I offer you a seat at my table. Could you not even delight me with pleasantries?
He's gonna put the cigarette out on the table, look up, think there's a level of fear that he's trying to overcome after their last encounter. He's really trying hard to mask. So sorry, Strahd. Where are my manners? How are you? Your home is gorgeous. Did you design it yourself? All this decorating must have taken you hours. But it's turned out wonderfully, hasn't it?
There they are. I knew they were deep down. Now, they may have been sarcastic, but I'll take what I can get, I suppose. And you down there? No need to worry about swords, magic, bullshit. We're here for a meal. Pick up a fork.
The grasp gets a little bit tighter on the sword, and the eyes get a little bit brighter. as the face becomes a little more stern. No words.
He begins to almost shake off the tension in a split second and begins to take a fork and a knife to an omelet in front of him.
I'll follow suit. So, why did you invite us, if you don't mind me asking? I wouldn't say I'm on the best terms with someone who forces me to stand in place and talk to them the last time I met them, so I wouldn't think this would be something you'd want.
That was all for show. You can understand, right? Now, I'm not saying that we got off on the right foot, but power has to be shown when it needs to be shown. You stepped into my valley, and I needed to make sure that you all knew who was in charge. But I wanted to show you there are two sides to every person. I wanted to invite you here. Again, it's not every day that people walk into Barovia. I haven't seen new faces in decades. So it's nice to see a new group.
Perhaps if you removed the fog, you might have more visitors?
If only that was my doing.
Oh, I just thought since it seems like you're in charge here, that...
Explain.
Oh, don't get me wrong. This is my domain, this is my realm, and no one will change that. But I was not just handed this place. Barovia was not just a family heirloom that I inherited. Barovia was something that was given to me. And I had to make a deal. Sadly, deals aren't all they're cracked up to be. Especially when you're foolish enough to make one with the devil. Isn't that right, Theren? You seem to know a lot about deals, don't you? I can sense him.
Him?
You reek of him. He can give you everything, but he will take it away so quick.
Who's this him you speak of? Explain yourself.
You've met him once before. He who gave you what you can do.
And you've met him before yourself. Is that what you're trying to say?
Sadly, I do.
Where? How?
Alright, we will get into this, I suppose.
Yes, we will, won't we?
You know there's a reason you all ended up together, right? You're more alike than you all think. You may share different pasts, different upbringings, but a thread of fate ties you all, and it ties you all to me as well. My past is not one that I am proud of, which is why I am cursed to live in Barovia for all eternity. Do you know what it's like to burn in heaven, Theren? Having everything you want, but not a single thing you can do about it at the same time, watching the loved ones you thought you knew die, to come back and never remember your face. You need to look inside yourself, Theren. Because the longer you delve into what your veins flow with, the power that he gave you, he's going to lose. And I'm not talking about the devil. As he looks at your sword in the seat next to you. All of his deals come with a price. I was given power, I was given Barovia, I was given a land that I loved and fought for my entire life. My curse is that I cannot leave. My curse is that I must watch the one woman that I loved die over and over again, rejecting my every move. No matter what soul her fucking body ends up in, she does not remember my face, she does not remember what I did for her. There's no hope. She will refuse my advances until the end of time, yet I cannot help but be drawn to her.
You tell us the story of curse and sadness and loss. How do we not know you deserved this in the end? How do we not know that this was given to you for what you've done in your past?
Oh, it was. Wasn't it, Sergei? As he looks over at you, Tannis. Tannis, I need a wisdom saving throw.
Oh my god.
Holy
Wait,
shit.
I don't...
What?
Hang on. Oh my god. Natural 1.
Tannis, at the mention of Sergei, those words leaving Strahd's lips, a shockwave comes over your body as you are hit in the chest and your eyes go blank. you see a muddy vision from a different perspective, a different body altogether. You look down as you see yourself dressed to the nines, a corsage in your jacket pocket, a bouquet of flowers in your hand, fleeting for your life. You look up to see the backside of the very castle that you just entered, the back courtyard, and Strahd himself hovering towards you, unmoving, yet boiling with hatred. As your vision goes blank, and you hear the sound of a scream, a woman's voice, echoing through your head that seems to almost trail off in a descent behind you as you come to at the table. It's nice to be together as a family again, isn't it, Sergei?
What did you just do to me?
I didn't do anything to you, except cast you out years ago. And you found a way to crawl yourself back to Barovia.
What are you talking about?
I wanted you gone, and you instead found your way back here to this godforsaken valley.
What are you talking about?
You're weaker than you once were, brother. Make no mistake. I could rid you of these mortal shackles once more and cast your soul out again if I so fucking please.
You just called me brother. No, I had a brother. And you are nothing compared to what he was. Don't call me brother again.
Theren, at the end of the table, remember when I said that all deals come with something you didn't expect, a price you must pay for the power that you gained?
I remember. Go on.
I killed my brother. And my brother's soul was sent out of Barovia by me, along with a curse. Whatever vessel that his soul was to end up in, he would kill his brother. And his brother would kill his brother, and his brother would kill his brother. Isn't that right, Sergei? What was his name?
Tannis.
You know I'm telling the truth. Tell your friends!
Tannis, what does he speak of?
I told you that I killed my brother. I didn't lie about that. His name was Brighton. But I don't know what he's talking about. I'm not an outcast soul. I'm not your brother. And he's lying. He's just trying to get inside our heads like he always does. I'm not your brother. And you didn't curse me.
I am your brother, believe it or not. Like it or not. You share the same soul that my brother once did. The brother that you slain with your own two hands, his soul will get reincarnated in another body, and guess what? He's going to kill his brother. And it's going to continue until the end of time. A curse. By my own hands. Did I want this? No. But I did what I did. I did not know the consequences. I just can't believe you took her from me.
What are you talking about?
You know what you did. You just couldn't let me have one thing. Sergei, could you? You had to take her from under me.
Tannis, don't fall into it. You know who you are. You know curses can be broken. Don't fall into it.
I'll say this, Strahd. If in some life I was your brother, and I did manage to steal someone away from you, let me give you some brotherly advice. If someone can be stolen from you, they were never really yours.
He takes his fork, pulls a bite up to his mouth. I suppose you're right. And that's the burden I have to live with. But speaking of things that you lost, as he looks over at you, Zielle.
What, me?
You know him too. How did you escape? What halted his presence, if you don't mind me asking?
Suni protects me.
Is that a god?
Yes, she is a goddess, and she protects me from all things evil.
Interesting. The people here speak of a morning lord, a god that they believe in. Nothing I ever really took to growing up. Maybe that would have changed everything.
Maybe it still can. Her reach extends even to this dark place. She is the goddess of love.
I think I'm a little too deep, sadly.
I would argue that you're not. I think you're lost. You'd say that we're all connected by these strings of fate, but I think you're just holding on to these strings that you need to let go of.
It's hard to let go of something that you want so dearly.
Of course.
That you felt was taken from you.
You're not wrong. But it doesn't mean you aren't capable of it. You keep talking about how powerful you are, right?
Yet the one thing I can't change is her love for me.
No, you can't. That's not how it works.
But I will continue to try.
You shouldn't. You don't need to do that anymore. Just know that she's in good hands, and you have, eternity to find love again. It's out there. It's out there for everyone.
I always hope the next soul is different. Maybe some memories lost. Something changed in the brain with the soul transfer. I hope Irina's different.
You should leave her be.
I can't do that.
You're just torturing yourself. This is a horrible way to live, especially, for one life alone, let alone eternity. You can choose. You know that, right? You act like you're a victim of fate or your choices. You can still choose. It's up to you. Who controls the fogs that you cannot get rid of them? Maybe we can.
There's no getting rid of the fog, unless you get rid of me. And you know damn well who it is, don't you?
No. But I'm not afraid of them.
I know he spoke to you before. I can sense him on you too. I told you, you two are more alike than you know. I just don't know how you got out of making a deal with him.
I suppose I had a choice then after all, didn't I?
Do you speak two in the same?
You and the girl. She was visited by him as well. Cade. Bastard.
Zielle!
What?
When?
Calm down, Theren.
Explain!
I will if you calm down. I already explained it to you. I killed my fiancé. You realize you're being played like a fiddle right now.
This Cade. You knew of him? You made a deal with him.
No.
She did not. That I can attest.
Nor did I know of him.
How do we connect then?
He saw interest in both of you, and preyed on you at your weakest. That's what he does best.
Once, and never again. I won't let that happen.
Once, and never again.
He only needs the once.
You said he was a devil. The devil?
Some sort of dark power.
Should we not work together to defeat him then?
There is no defeating him.
And there's no working together.
There's no leaving Barovia. There's nothing you can do. So, thank you all for coming to my brunch.
No, that's just wrong! What is the point of existing if that's how you're going to think about things and nothing will ever change? No one will ever change. It will always be the same as it is. Why not just leave then?
Because I can't leave. It has been centuries and I am stuck here. There's nothing I can do about it, so I may as well enjoy it, shouldn't I?
There's no way you can be killed?
I would like to see you try.
It seems like you're asking for it.
So then jump across this table and slit my throat.
Maybe that could be arranged.
Feel free.
Patagonia.
I just don't see the point. It seems like nothing you do matters. What's any amount of power worth if you can't choose anything for yourself?
Oh no, it seems like he's made some choices, haven't you? Cursing me to kill my brother, is that true?
I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true.
So see, we've got choices. Some of us have choices, I should say.
Yes, everyone may have choices. And I have my own, which is why I'm going to choose to wait until she finds a soul that loves me for me. If it isn't this one, I'll wait until the next one, and I'll choose to wait until the next one after that. And in the meantime, I'm going to use this power that I was granted. So you may as well get used to it. You all have choices as well. You chose to come to Barovia, and now you must deal with the consequences. You're escorting Irina. Irina is the one that I am after. She will be mine. So I hope you get used to seeing my face over and over again. Because when she dies and her soul finds a new body, I'll be waiting. She will be mine. I don't care how long I have to wait, and that is my choice.
I would like to stand up. Thank you for brunch. Thank you for trying to make us see your side, but we do not see eye to eye clearly. And if you come within a mile of Irina, I will slit your throat.
Now that's the brunch conversation that I like. Anyone else want to throw out a threat before you leave? Please.
Theren will stand up.
Yes, give me.
What do you gain?
Nothing. I don't gain a single thing, other than knowing that you're walking around in my domain and that you won't last a week. Just like the ones before you. Sergei, when your soul leaves, I'll do my best to cast it out once more. You'll just be recycled into new people, stuck here with me. So why don't we have a bit of fun? Love is out of the question. Let's enjoy ourselves.
You know, Strahd, I may not be able to slit your throat, but, I can hurt you in other ways. Seems I did before, and maybe I will again. But she's not going to love you. She might love me, though.
With those words, Tannis,
Oh, fuck.
you feel a dagger from his eyes meet yours as he stares deeply, his brows furrowed as his eyes blacken. And you see nothing but a smirk come over his face as a fierce, bone-chilling wind rises up and roars through the hall, putting out all the flames as the room goes dark. You hear the screech of ancient hinges and a solid thud of many heavy doors throughout the castle slamming shut as Strahd begins to laugh. And reverberating through this dining hall, another laugh joins the fray. Deeper, darker, malevolent as the flames erupt once more in their sconces, one after another through the hall in a bright, black, searing flame. As your vision comes to once more, you see the table covered in blood. Tannis, your hands drenched, your forearms tightened and tensed as if you were swinging a sword as hard as you possibly can, pushing harder and harder through muscle and tissue. Zielle, as you stand, your hands as well, bathed in crimson, blood spattered across your face, your torso, every last inch in droplets of red. However, when you look down at your hands, you see your left hand clasped around your right fist, squeezing as tightly as you possibly can. And Theren, you see your companions, their look of shock in their eyes as they peer at the blood on the table, on their persons. Though you remain clean. Until you feel a drop sliding down the middle of your back. One after another until it begins to soak through your shirt. And standing next to you, the visage of Baron. Concerned and frightened as he looks down at his billowing shirt once more. Gazing at his forearm, where his hand once was. As you all feel a heavy jolt once more. A jolt you've felt once before as the carriage hits the muddy dirt road and you find yourselves in the carriage back at the camp. Clean, yet full. And for today, that's a wrap.
No! I have things to say.
Christian, would you like to chime in on that one?
I'm gonna chug my mimosa right now.
Christian's about to drive up here and beat my ass.
Yeah, reminder, I'm gonna see you all in like 8 weeks. Brian, that is a threat.
Yeah, understood. Thank you all so much for listening. Wow, this series just leaves me speechless sometimes, and I can't thank you all enough for being here with me and having the time of our goddamn lives together. I would like you all to join me for a goodbye, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Good luck and bye-bye, everybody.
No, if I don't say goodbye, it doesn't
No.
end.
Bye.
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 I'm in emotional pain.
You all may look at episode
I'm already
9
looking.
visual
I'm
too.
already looking. Oh my god! I'm gonna be sick.
No, don't do this.
I would like, listeners, I would like to tell you that Ryan, our DM, 3 days ago, posted a spoilered visual in our Discord and attacked me and said it's going to ruin me. He was right. He was right. This man looks like Gojo times like Rhysand from A Court of Thorns and Roses. The girlies will know what I mean.
He does look like Gojo, doesn't? Oh.
He did say sorry.
I did say sorry.
Who cares?
I didn't look at that for 3 days. I used I got nothing done this week because 100% of my willpower was going into not clicking on that visual because Ryan also knew exactly how to torture me, so I knew exactly what it was, but I couldn't look.